Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, Bloodfist 3, Force to Fight, directed by Oli Sassoon in the year 1991, before it was released on the 3rd of January 1992. It's still a 1991 film anyway. Now, welcome back to Apatros Review, your guide to the wild world of science fiction action horror, with me, your host, Milo Sipka. And of course, if you want to spell my name, is just basically there on my channel. Now, in this episode, we look at the film Bloodfist 3, Force to Fight, which was the third in the Bloodfist series, and it's probably the most unique one of the bunch. It was basically a prison drama. I'll get onto the background of the film a little bit later, but first I want to flip the script and talk about the DVD release of this first. In Australia, this was released originally through Jigsaw Entertainment, and then through Flashback Entertainment as part of a double feature series. So basically on 4 discs they put 2 Bloodfist films in each. So you basically collect 4 discs to collect all 8 films in the series. Pretty neat, huh? Now the quality of these discs, I mean, for Bloodfist 3, they're pretty much average. The quality is pretty much the same across all discs. The picture looks like it was taken off an NTSC videotape, and then passively converted to PAL, and it's not perfect, but it's fairly average. It's in 4:3, but then again, most of these films were like shot 1:33 open matte, but that's pretty much the way they went then. And then no extras. English stereo, no subtitles, and each disc has both films running one after the other. Okay, so that's it for the disc. Now for the film. After getting a surprise success on its hands with his attempt to ride on the then emerging market in Western martial arts film in the very late 1980s with Bloodfist, producer Roger Corman decided to greenlight a whole slew of sequels to follow in that film's wake. The first of these, Bloodfist 2, was a slightly superior sequel that acted as Corman's version of Bruce Lee classic Into the Dragon. But when it came to making the third entry in what became the most prolific franchise of its kind in the 1990s, things got a little dicey. Series star Don the Dragon Wilson was busy making another film for Corman with director Oli Sassoon, a prison drama called Force to Fight. And by the way, Oli Sassoon was also responsible for directing the Ashcan production version of Fantastic Four for Roger Corman, the one that was never released. And his sister Kat Sassoon, who was a model, also appeared in 2 of the Bloodfists. I'll cover those in the future. And by the way, legend has it that Don Dragon Wilson actually asked Roger Corman what the title Bloodfist meant. Corman replied, "Well, it's a martial arts film, and you're in it." So that's basically the best way to explain Bloodfist. It's martial arts. Basically, if you look up in a dictionary the word Bloodfist, it basically mentions now a series of martial arts films featuring champion American kickboxer Don Dragon Wilson. Or at least I should make a dictionary definition of that. With a picture of Don Dragon Wilson in it. Anyway. Now, Wilson plays Jimmy Boland, an honest worker and martial arts enthusiast who gets wrongly convicted for a crime he didn't commit by racist cops. Basically, was in a bar, there was a fight, somebody got stabbed and killed, and Wilson was basically wrongly fingered for the crime. So basically earned him a 10-year stretch for manslaughter. While inside, in the jail, Boland tries to save a friend's relative from being raped and fairly shanked by the prison kingpin Luther, but it's too late. He does the next best thing and brutally kills Luther in a nasty fight that's inadvertently seen by visiting reporters, thus embarrassing the prison's corrupt and incompetent warden. As punishment, Boland is transferred to the worst section of the prison, where Luther's gang and the local white supremacists own the turf. Luther's death means that his second in command, the psychotic Blue, played by Gregory McKinney, who actually died about 1998, at the age of 41, and was actually a pretty decent actor, is unable to get drugs smuggled into prison thanks to Luther's death, thus making Boland his prime target. Boland also makes an enemy of the leader of the Skinheads, Wheelhead, when he refuses to join them. Boland's new cellmate, the prison lawyer Miss Samuel Stark, played by Richard Roundtree, yep, Sharp's in this, initially dismisses Boland as nothing special, but Boland's honesty and sense of honor, as well as his efforts at defending himself against anything Wheelhead and Blue can throw at him, earns him respect from Stark and other prisoners, united to protect Boland and show the warden how they should be treated better. Wheelhead and Blue, meanwhile, with backing from the warden, decide to get their revenge. Now, those who are not fans of the Bloodfist franchise or 1990s direct-to-video B-actions in general tend to think of Force to Fight as a weird entry in the series that started as a rip-off of classic martial arts films, then morphed into a generic action franchise. But the truth is that while it's not exactly a tight-finned franchise's specifications, the reality is that the film was one of the best entries in the series. In fact, on this and Bloodfist 7 Manhunt pretty much the best in the series. The film is intelligently written for a prison drama, and along with the expected fine acting from Richard Roundtree and the surprisingly good performance of Bruno Dragon himself, acting seems to have improved with Wilson's skill set. Although his fighting skills don't need any more improvement given his legendary reputation at the kickboxing circuit. And to be honest, I mean, when you see, I mean, Wilson doesn't really show that much emotion, but he does have that certain look on his face when he's about to beat the shit out of someone. When he does that face, then you'll know he's all business. And this film pretty much makes the most of its meager budget and becoming a prime contender for being the best prison film in the 1990s. Rivaling the likes of the even cheaper Gun for Hire effort Broken Bars, itself a cheap rip-off of Death Warrant, and of course Death Warrant itself, and some of the science fiction themed prison films in the 1990s. People walking in the park. There are a couple of points that prevent me from elevating this film above Passable, however. The story arc of the child molester who becomes one of Boland's friends is something that might have at the time been seen as an interesting idiosyncrasy. The film's message is that anyone can be redeemed, but in the subsequent 30 years since the film was originally released, public tolerance of child abuse has gone lower and lower, to the point that these kinds of offenders are considered persona non grata in extreme. So watching Forcified today in 2021, especially with the call of 2017, looking to ban certain films, will pretty much raise a few eyebrows. I personally have no problem with the message the film wants to make, but aside of the child molester watching a visiting young girl playing around in what he imagines a pink dress, will quite honestly give you the creeps, and I have no tolerance to these kind of people. Anyway, the creep gets shanked as the crap out of him and dies a quick but painful death. The other low point is that the film's not the film's own fault, but the marketing exercise of making this a Bloodfist sequel, and it's not. Although that really doesn't matter anymore, despite being somewhat criminally low in the fight scenes. I mean, it's not wall-to-wall action, but although there are some good fight scenes in this, just it's not that much action to be a Bloodfist film. It's more of a drama. Now, the film, while better written than most prison films tend to be, still has only the simple, time-honored story arc of the prisoner seeking redemption, something that doesn't quite fit the Bloodfist franchise too well in a way, thus preventing me from rating this as a solid film. It's still worth your time if you're into the Bloodfist franchise or the 1990s prison film genre as a whole. This will make a nice triple bill of Death Warrant and Broken Bars, although it's up to you to decide what order to watch them in. But Forcified still remains somewhat of an oddity in the 1990s direct-to-video action genre. I mean, there were other films like this, similar to this, but this is pretty much the first one of its kind. Bloodfist Free Forcified gets a C+ from me, a 5 out of 10. It's a passable prison morality tale, also one of the best Bloodfist films despite its ill-fitting storyline. Now, for the gore. There is some blood, but not substantially gory in any way. Now for nudity. During the child abuser's fatal shanking, the prisoners are watching TNT Jackson in their AV room. The infamous scene where the protagonist of that film was find the baddies were clad only in their white underwear, which basically changes one scene, is shown as the kitty filler is getting stabbed. I have a copy of TNT Jackson in my collection. I'll be reviewing it later this year. Boobs are seen in the footage, but nothing else. Also, when Stark pays Wheelhead a visit, he basically has some nude pin-ups on his wall. Try and see if you can recognize any of the women. Okay, that's it for that one. Bloodfist Free Forcified gets a C+, and it's passable. Now, I don't do requests, but if you want to know about a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comment section. Also, if you have any questions about DVDs, like for example the cut status, or or any technical problems, or anything at all, I'll be happy to help. Just hit me up in the comment section, I'll answer. Hope you enjoyed that, and that's it for this review.